Welcome to the Contra Costa County Eldercare channel. My name is Stephanie. I work with Horizon Elder Law and Estate Planning, and today I'm your host for the Contra Costa County Eldercare channel. Today I'm here with Bob Timbers from Safe at Home Services. Welcome.
Thank you.
Bob founded Safe at Home Services in 2010 in order to create a positive impact for the elderly in the local community. He does so by creating a safe environment to allow seniors to safely remain in their homes as long as possible. He, along with state licensed contractor Chris Ridenhour, worked together to install grab bars, handrails, ramps, and much more to increase the safety for the elderly and disabled individuals. Bob began working with seniors in 2005 when a close family member needed some help. Bob, can you tell us a little about your Uncle Jim and how he ignited your passion for seniors?
Sure, Stephanie. Thank you. Uncle Jim, to me, was just Uncle Jim for many, many years. But at age 88, although he had always been independent, great hiker, but he began having some falls, some orientation problems, and memory issues. So as the closest family member, I began making some trips to Portland, where he was living, and helped him out as I could. Those trips turned out to cover the last 6 months of his life, and I went up every third weekend or second, depending on what was going on. And to my surprise, because it began as a duty and it ended as something I looked forward to because we became friends, and I had not expected that. After his death, I found I wanted to continue helping or lending a helping hand to seniors where I could. I began educating myself, researching, reading, and taking online courses in gerontology and in building modification, sometimes called universal design. And I also began to do things such as volunteer to drive seniors to medical appointments, and I still do that. I visited all or most of the assisted living facilities in the area, and I also began to run workshops for seniors who wanted to write their biographies and even publish them. I brought one here. This is actually a hardback. I think it's called Vanity Publishing, but it's a pretty valuable project, not only for the person, but also for it's such a keepsake for the family members. And then I also joined the board of directors for the Ombudsman Services of Contra Costa County. And not everyone's familiar with the Ombudsman, but that is the one organization that oversees the care and well-being for all of our people that are in care facilities throughout Contra Costa County. So it's a huge undertaking, big job. I also have begun and continue to work with the Meals on Wheels and their fall prevention program. So that was some of my involvements and current involvements too.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's some great experience. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
So,
you're welcome.
Why did you get involved in this senior care?
Well, what I found was that most seniors, the figures are always high, 90%, want to stay in their own homes. Mm-hmm. And as good as the assisted living and other facilities are, they're not home and they're expensive. Um, and so I was drawn to wanting to see what I could do to help people stay in their homes longer. And it began on a consulting basis, but was a little frustrating in that I could not make the physical changes that needed to be made. So that developing my relationship with Chris Ridenauer, licensed contractor, and he's been doing this for 25 years and has built everything from homes from the ground up to now putting in grab bars. So that really opens things up so that we can now do everything, as well as the more defined projects of putting in grab bars, but we can also remodel bathrooms, kitchens. We widen doorways so that wheelchairs can get through them. We can change the lighting, which is important for seniors staying in their homes. As need be, we increase the depth of steps so that a person with a walker can fit on that step with the walker and not worry about falling. We reduce stairs, so on and on.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, those are some of those things I would never even think about.
No, and I hadn't until I began this.
Yeah, that's great. So, can you tell us what the most common reason for people ending up leaving their homes would be?
Sure. Clearly, it is falling. That's the reason. And there's it's a word that has a lot around it and lots of consequences. But that's what happens. Anyone over 50 or so realizes that when we fall, we no longer bounce like we did when we were 20.
Yeah.
We break, and it's usually a shoulder that breaks, or a hip that breaks, or a head that is injured. And the recovery from these falls, and they're traumatic, the recovery is long, and it changes, it's life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the spouse usually becomes the primary caregiver, and they do heroic jobs,
Yes.
but the balance of life that they enjoyed for so long is now, it's also broken. And so falls, it just keeps coming back to falls for why people, can't stay at home.
Right. So obviously prevention is key, and that's what you do. So what can be done besides, I guess we've talked a little bit about that widening stairs, but we can also do ramps to the house. Are there any other things? Did you want to show us a few things that?
Sure. Well, the primary list is in fall prevention is twofold. They're structural things, and some are easy, and it's gotten a lot of attention. But everyone says, get rid of your throw rugs.
Yeah.
And I say that too.
Right.
I say hang them up.
Yeah.
Because some people are actually attached to their throw rugs. It's an heirloom or something like that. So hang it on the wall. You can still have it.
Yeah.
But at this point, as people age, they tend to go more towards shuffling their feet and not picking them up. So if for 35 years you've lived in this house and you've never trip. Why should you trip now? Well, because you're not as good at picking up your feet. Um, and it remains the anytime you talk to any EMT that goes out on emergency services, they'll bring this up. It just keeps happening. We heard, here's a short aside on a little story I heard from an EMT who was very proud of having made his grandmother's apartment fall proof. She was in Santa Rosa, and he had gotten rid of, it was now bare floors or carpeting, grab bars everywhere, and had just done all of the right things. And then he said how he got a call from his sister, and his sister said, well, Grandma fell again and she's in the hospital. And he says, no, that's impossible. I fall-proofed her house. And his sister says, yeah, but you didn't take her computer away from her. And she went on to Amazon and ordered replacements for those throw rugs you got rid of. And she tripped. So there's also a mental component to this. People that want to stay at home need to be willing to change. We can modify the house, but the people are, we're used to hurrying around. Our culture is set up to do more in less and less time. That becomes a great enemy when you're wanting to stay at home. I ask people about their fall. More often than not, what happened? I was hurrying. And so to be able to think, trying to do things more deliberately is very important. So anyway, back to the things you can do. Number one is the throw rugs. Number two is lighting. We don't see as well, our eyes don't see as well, or they need more light to see as well as you're older. So you need brighter light, and so your lighting should be changed, and you should have night lights put in. I hear it all of the time. I've lived here forever. I certainly know my way around the house. What do I need night lights for? Well, because if you can prevent a fall, you're going to save a lot of money and a lot of anguish. The home is where most falls take place. Within the home, most falls take place at night. At night in the home, most falls take place between the bedroom and the bathroom. So, number 3, 2, or wherever we are, it makes sense to make that a safe pathway between the bedroom and the bathroom. Which then leads us to the next recommendation, which is in the bathroom, have someone install grab bars for you. And they're just a big help. At the same time, other fall prevention things, so the major ones in bathrooms are to make sure that the bottom of your tub or shower is not slick. There are friction strips that you can put on. Some tubs and showers come with a rough surface, but that's very important. Also, towel racks are lethal. Towel racks are not, they're designed to hold towels, not people. And we've all seen it. The bent towel rack, the loose towel rack, those towel racks should be removed and replaced actually with a grab bar. And it can still be used as a towel rack, but now if you grab onto it, it's going to hold you up. The toilet area should be looked at. It's harder to get up from the toilet when you're older, and there are high-rise toilets and things like that. And then finally, in terms of fall prevention, I would simply say that having good nutrition and exercise are really, really important. And the nutrition I would underscore for people who are living alone.
Yes.
When you're alone, you tend not to eat on schedule or not to eat, and so that's also very important.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Those are great tips. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, do you find that some people have difficulty with the concept of changing their house around, and how would you address those issues?
Yes, there is difficulty. Just as people, we tend to resist change. But if you want to stay in your home, as I said before, you need to accept a certain amount of change. The other level of resistance comes from, it comes from grab bars, toilet rails, all this DME, durable medical equipment. People don't want their homes looking like an institution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard issue.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have put a lot of thought into the design of their homes. So what I do is I think people need their own space, and they need time to adjust. And realize that staying on your feet trumps looks sometimes. And I also point out that there are style directions you can take, such as, I don't know if it's visible or not, or you can appreciate, some grab bars can be very decorative. This is one that's got, it's chrome, but it has polished brass highlights to it, and many people have the same combination of faucet and fixtures that are this, or you can get them in all polished brass. You can get these types of pieces in any color of the rainbow. So things can be done to soften the impact.
Well, that's great. Yeah, because I would be concerned about that also,
Mm-hmm.
being a female. And
yeah, and there are also even disguised grab bars out now. There are soap dishes that just look like soap dishes, but in fact they're grab bars.
Oh.
There are toilet paper dispensers that look like toilet paper dispensers, but in fact are grab bars.
Oh, that's great.
There are little corner shelves for the shower area that look like corner shelves, but in fact are grab bars. So there, the industry is working at this.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's great. Well, it's been such a pleasure. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we close?
I think we've covered. We've covered the basics. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, thank you for your time today. If your loved one is in need of creating a safer environment for your home, please call Bob Timbers at 925-360-1909. It's been such a pleasure talking with you and hearing about all of the services that you offer and just what's out there. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Stephanie.
We hope you have a wonderful day.